Hi everyone, so for this video we're going to be solving an inequality, but this one has fractions in it. So just like before when we dealt with like linear equations, you're going to be using the same steps, and I know it probably seems confusing, but the inequality you're going to kind of treat like an equal sign until the very last step. And so what we're going to do first is whenever you have fractions, you want to get rid of them. Most of us hate fractions and we want to get rid of them. And so what we're going to do to get rid of them is we're going to look at the denominators of each of the fractions. So technically these are over 1, right? And so really the only denominator that's going to give us an issue is that 7. And so we're going to get rid of that 7 by multiplying by the least common multiple. And in this case it's just 7. So I'm going to multiply everything by 7. And remember, every term needs to be multiplied by 7. So if I'm going to multiply the 18 times 7, that gives me 126. Okay, so the 7 times 18 is 126. Less than, I'm still going to just bring it down. 2 times 7 is 14. And then minus, notice, if I have the 6 sevenths times the 7th, the 7's cancel, which is what we wanted, right? We want to get rid of the fraction. So this gives me minus 6v. And so now I'm left with a linear inequality, which is much easier to solve. And so now our goal is to get this v by itself. So to do that, I'm going to subtract 14 on both sides. And let's see, that gives me 112 on this side. 14's cancel out here, and I'm left with negative 6v. So again, I'm trying to get this v by itself. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to divide by negative 6. And remember, this is the last step, right? So whenever you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number, it switches the inequality around. So yes, this cancels, okay? But now I need to remember that I need to switch this. Alright? And so just make sure that when you're doing that, you don't forget to switch that around. And then let's see, 112 divided by negative 6. That is not a nice number. So what I'm going to do is I am going to change that to a fraction. So I get negative 56 over 3. So there is the answer to this inequality. Now, just like before, you may be asked to give your answer in interval notation. And so you want to be able to draw yourself a picture of what this looks like. So if I draw a number line here, and negative 56 over 3 is about negative 18.6. So just to kind of give you a reference point here, it's about that. Okay. Now, this inequality here does not have a line underneath, so that means this is going to be an open circle. All right, and this is saying that negative 56 over 3 is bigger than or greater than v. So that means v, if I rewrite this is saying the same thing as v is less than negative 56 over 3. Okay, and so if I'm drawing this on a number line, it is going to the left. So that is what my picture looks like. And so if I'm asked to write that in interval notation, you read a graph from left to right. So I'm going to be starting here. Well, this is coming from negative infinity. Now remember, infinities always has the parentheses. And it's going to end at the negative 56 over 3, which has an open circle, so that also has parentheses. Okay, so remember, if it was closed, it would be a bracket. But because it's an open circle, it has parentheses. So there are 3 possible answers here. You could give this in interval notation. You could give it this way, what we originally started with, or you can give it this way. These are all equivalent to each other. So just make sure that when you are writing your answer that you write it correctly.